An English educator, Linda Sinclair is 50 years of age and single. She has no cozy individual connections other than the ones she has with her #1 writers and books she enjoys. How considerably less confounded her life is than the tumult she finds out about in writing, in spite of the way that her life could seem exhausting and tedious. She preferred basic joys in light of the fact that as a delicate young person, she had forever been distant from everyone else. She starts dating various men. As she searches for adoration, she expected to set a model for her children by picking a smart, thoughtful man. Yet she dismisses them all since she needs to mark off each container. One day, Jason came over as she was utilizing the ATM to pull out cash. Yet she didn't see him from the beginning and utilized paper shower on his eyes since she thought he was a hoodlum. Subsequent to acknowledging what she had done, she was sorry and gave him a water to chill the copying. Jason would not go to the emergency clinic since his dad worked there, and he never needed to see him. So Linda went with the choice to drive him home, rather as a method for aiding. Jason was the best essayist in her English class, so Linda was interested about his composing vocation. While they were out and about, she thought he was at that point enjoying a truly incredible lifestyle in New York City. When things didn't go as arranged, Jason's dad requested that he concentrate on regulation, something he had never needed and which had consistently given him stress. Jason recognized to Linda that he needed to be a decent essayist and that he had moved on from the theater composing program in New York. He likewise conversed with her about the play he had recently composed, yet had been not able to distribute or peruse on the grounds that she was so moved. Linda pursued the choice to help Jason. She inquired as to whether you would see any problems on the off chance that she read his play, and Jason consented to send it to the school the following day. Jason endeavored to slip a duplicate of his play into Linda's group. Yet she got him. She presented him as the best author in his English class of 2006, and a new alumni of the emotional composing program at New York College, and his appearance satisfied the whole class. Jason's dad was disinterested when Linda got some information about his child's capacity for making sensational plays. When they initially met at the rec center, he stayed uninterested, regardless of being convinced by Linda that she had gone to the play and thought it exciting in light of the fact that he believed that him should sign up for graduate school, making Linda accept that he was an impassive, unsupportive dad. Linda went through the whole evening perusing Jason's content in spite of the way that it was basically impossible to introduce the play. Linda chose to call Jason in the wake of perusing it, since it caused her to feel so moved and energized. She referenced her companion Carl, the theater teacher at the school, which gave Jason trust as she let him know how entrancing it was. She informed him that he regularly grumbled about getting a similar dramatization to prepare a large number of years, so he would be truly thankful to have something new and fascinating. She likewise expressed that he could help him in having the play delivered. Jason pursued the choice to heed her guidance. Carl was given the content to peruse, and he thought it was captivating. Carl and Linda went to the Keys office to demand subsidizing for their thought for another play. Since he had been showing similar play for the earlier years, Carl met Linda at school in the first part of the day so they could discuss Jason's play. Linda and Carl were told by Trudy and the VP that their play was ill-advised for a secondary school since it had a disastrous and savage closure. They proposed that they cut the last section, and Carl consented to do so. The chief later conceded them authorization. As they were leaving the Keys office, they, in the long run, arrived at an understanding. Linda informed Carl that it wouldn't be smart to cut the completion without Jason's notification, since he would have no desire to. Carl clarified for the lady that he was trying to say this to win their approval. Jason declined Linda's solicitation to the bistro since he wasn't prepared to sign the agreement that would offer the school the chance to coordinate his exhibition. Yet she convinced him subsequently that it was the main way for him to recover the certainty he had lost and keep his father from winning. When Jason at last concurred, the augmentation started some other time when the entertainers were allowed to stand up to the writer about the play. Jason felt disturbed when one of the understudies scrutinized his certainty. Jason stomped out of the theater. Linda advised him to remain on track and oppose becoming diverted. Tom hindered them in a practice, requesting to chat with Jason outside. Linda chose to proceed to help Jason in the wake of them having a brutal discussion. She additionally realized that Tom could never believe Jason should seek after his dramatic playwriting as a profession. Jason was in torment because of his ulcers. So when Linda entered her homeroom following their contention with Tom, and gave him some medication. He felt ease. They became immersed in a second, and Jason kissed Linda and gave her a table embrace. Do you want to see part 2 of this video? Subscribe to the channel and comment part 2. Thanks for watching. I would see you at part 2. From that point onward, Penny takes a taste of Evade's hack syrup with codeine and vodka, then, at that point, offers him some weed. However, he declines. Penny then, at that point, lets him know that the substance assists with her awful resting routine because of her hypersomnia. Taking note of that, she can rest through the end times. That evening, Penny nods off on Evade's sofa, adequately sure she doesn't awaken in any event, when the TV is playing boisterously and Elsa is vacuuming before her. Evade even squeezes her nose, yet Penny doesn't move an inch. Minutes after the fact, Penny awakens, so Evade strolls her ground floor. As they show up at Penny's place, she gives him his lost letters that erroneously got placed in her postbox, noticing that she saved them for a really long time. Penny additionally gets some information about Linda, believing that she's his flatmate. She says she appeared to be so content with her sweetheart, uncovering that she used to bring a person over to their loft without Evade's information. As a result of this disclosure, Evade returns to his loft and irately discards Linda's effects. He then, at that point, goes to a recreation area to suffocate his distresses with a container of Window More Clean. In any case, regardless of the endeavor to end his life, Evade still awakens the following day, just to find a neglected canine attached to his foot and a paper that simply says, "Sorry." Returning home, he sees disorder breaking out in the roads, however overlooks it. Minutes after the fact, while Evade is watching the report about a monstrous mob, he peruses the lost mail that Penny rewarded him and sees an admission letter from Olivia dated months prior. Then, out of nowhere, a block is tossed through his window from the uproar outside. He attempts to go out, yet hears an uproar in the passage, so he leaves through the emergency exit, all things considered. He brings along Grieved, the canine, and heads down to Penny's loft. There, Evade experiences Owen, Penny's ex, who quickly accepts that he is laying down with Penny. A piece irritated, Evade overlooks him to awaken Penny and caution her about the uproars. However, Owen is attempting to impede him. Evade likewise advises them to move rapidly and leave. Yet Penny is determined about bringing a couple of her music records with her. Penny offers to drive as they attempt to get away from the ongoing issue. However, they find inconvenience finding her vehicle. Certain individuals then begin discharging their weapons, so Owen involves Penny as a human safeguard to safeguard himself. At the point when they get to her vehicle, Penny battles heading out on the grounds that she's trapped in an equal parking spot. Owen goes out to help her, yet he begins chiding Penny for not doing it appropriately. Evade, who simply needs to leave, lets Penny know that he knows somebody with a plane. He says he can take Penny to her family, assuming that she figures out how to get him out of there, so Penny just carelessly drives away without Owen. They run completely dry the following day, so they wind up strolling not too far off. On account of their ongoing circumstance, pressures rise and they begin contending. Avoid says Penny demolished his life, faulting her for not getting Olivia's letter in time. Penny begins feeling regretful thus, so she vows to assist him with tracking down his lost love. She then hails an approaching vehicle and asks the driver, Glenn, to take them to Somerset, and the caring man gives them a lift. Out and about, Penny makes Glenn share his biography, so he admits that he was anticipating committing suicide in the wake of finding out about the apocalypse. Nonetheless, he specifies that doing that will not get him into paradise. Then, at that point, while Glenn is talking, Avoid sees that he has scoops at the rear of his truck, which makes him dubious. Minutes after the fact, Glenn heads over to pee and welcomes Avoid to accompany him, yet he declines. Then, at that point, Penny takes Sorry out for a walk when Glenn returns. Whenever Penny is gone, Glenn advises Evade to kill him rapidly, believing he's the assassin he employed. Avoid is confounded right away, however they figure out how to determine the misconception. Sadly, it isn't well before the genuine professional killer shoots Glenn in the neck and paces off. At the point when Penny returns, they cover him involving the digging tools in the vehicle. They then choose to utilize Glenn's truck. However, since they unintentionally covered the keys with him, they need to uncover him once more. As Evade and Penny keep driving and getting to know one another, they go over a cafe called Frenzies. They then, at that point, meet Darcy and Katie, the excessively cordial servers. As they request, Penny lies that it's Evade's birthday, so the cafe group gives him a little surprise and several kisses. Be that as it may, when things begin getting insane, they get away from the cafe. Subsequently, the two wind up sharing an enthusiastic second in the truck. Be that as it may, Evade thinks twice about it later in view of their age distinction, not having any desire to appear as though he's exploiting Penny. He is sorry, however, Penny forgets about it, letting him know it will undoubtedly work out. As they drive, a cop unexpectedly pulls them over for speeding. Simultaneously, Evade and Penny discover that Glenn's vehicle has a messed up taillight and a lapsed plate number. Given the present status of the world, Penny attempts to beg the official, Wally, to let them go, yet he denies. In this way, they wind up getting secured. In their different cells, Penny begins shouting out of responsibility since she feels like she demolished Avoid's life, however much she destroyed her own. In this way, Avoid attempts to comfort her through the bars and starts discussing his own life to encourage her. Before long, one of the cops discharges them. Do you want to see part 2 of this video? Subscribe to the channel and comment part 2. Thanks for watching. I would see you at part 2.